Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's exciting to be here.
Awesome to meet you in person after having Troy on the podcast a couple of times.
I've heard the name David Mouse at home so many times.
Really?
Yeah.
Always positive.
Always positive.
Yeah.
Always. He absolutely loves and adores you.
Oh, that's so cool. I was just thinking on the way here how Troy has come about through a string of different connections.
Yeah.
And it's really cool how this journey continues.
Yeah, it's funny. And then I might know someone who will end up on here. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just get us started. Tell us about yourself and what you do and your business. And
well, I started. It's fairly recently, really. I started grooming about 2.5 years ago. Prior to that, I was, a stay-at-home mum. Absolutely no idea what I was doing in life. The kid's dad and I separated, and I was thinking, oh my God, I really have to, it's solely on me to provide for these children on my own. And I was just freaking out. I had no idea because I hadn't, I had left school when I was 16 and I just went straight into retail and office work and nothing really career-wise. And then I had kids and it was just focused on the kids. And then I just thought, no, screw it. I'm going to do something. But because I left school so early, I had to go back to basics, really. And I had to go back to Aurora and get all my high school credits, which was pretty humbling at about 30 years old to be going and studying math at Aurora with 16-year-olds. So studied my ass off doing that, which was a juggle with, my kids were really young at the time on my own. Put them to bed and then go write an essay or do some form of homework or something. So I passed that, and then I went on to study animal care at the National Trade Academy, which wasn't exactly, I always knew that it was dog focused. I wanted to work with dogs. But it was animal focused. So that was kind of, my next step. I still didn't know entirely what I wanted to do with dogs. Originally thought I wanted to be a vet nurse, but then I discovered I'm not actually as tough as I like to think I am, and I can't quite handle all the sad stuff. So I thought, what's something that you can do that is, dog related, that's not going to make me cry every day. So I ended up from the National Trade Academy, I got offered a job through a boarding kennels. So I was working in the boarding kennels and then, always wanted to do grooming, but it's not, you don't get any student loan, no student allowance for dog grooming. It's hard to get into and very, very expensive. So it was kind of a pipe dream that, this would be great, but I'm a single mum. I'm not going to be able to pull that out of thin air. And then, Troy and I had met and we were going good and we got in a discussion about it, and Troy being Troy, he was just like, nah, just fucking do it. He was like, well, just make it work. This is your dream.
Love that.
So I pitched to my bosses at the boarding kennels, I really want to study grooming. I think that it would be a really good thing to have, have a full service kennel. Your dogs come in, they can come out pretty and not, covered in filth from the kennels. And they loved it. So they were all for it. So I went off to study grooming, and they very kindly set up a whole grooming studio for me at the boarding kennels and hired me full time.
Wow.
So I studied it was about 7 months. I did some work experience at the grooming salon in between my courses. And then I was working along at the boarding kennels, grooming, which was hard. Just being on my own, and it was every different type of dog. It was, giant dogs to chihuahuas to everything, which on your own can be very challenging with the giant breeds or the not so nice ones and everything. And then my grooming tutor, my mentor, contacted me and said, hey, I've been in contact with one of her past students, and she's selling her business in Lincoln, which is where I was moving to. And she said, I think that you should jump on it. And I was thinking, oh my God, the instant heart attack. And I was thinking, because there's all the things that run through your mind, like, what if she's a better groomer than I am? What if she's a faster groomer? What if I'm not good enough? What, And then once again, Troy's like, just fucking do it.
So good.
Yeah, so I contacted her and we started the whole process. It was really, really difficult because we had to come up, we had to buy the business. It wasn't a gift. And because of my background, I didn't have any assets. I didn't have a house or much of a credit history or anything. So getting a business loan took months and months and months, and it was a real drama. But we got there, we pushed through, and we got a purpose-built cabin at our house now.
Yeah.
And so I can just work from home, which is amazing with the kids.
Yeah.
And, I can just pick them up from school, throw them in the lounge, give them a snack, and I can go back to work for a little bit. It's awesome.
That's so cool. And so how long ago was that? How long ago did the business start in the current?
I took over the business. It was November, not last year, 2023.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's been just a little over a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So you're relatively new into the business ownership space.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
It's all very new and confusing. I'm muddling my way through, and somehow it's doing good.
What's something that's happened that you wouldn't have expected?
Oh, well, to begin with, just everyone stayed.
Right.
I was, so worried that they were just going to be like, no, she's not, she's not the same. She's not good enough. She's not. But yeah, everyone stayed, and it's the whole thing is a surprise, really. If I if I could go back in time and talk to myself 5 years ago and say, what would you say if I said, in 5 years' time you're going to be a business owner working from home and have full books, and there's no way that I would believe it.
Yeah, that is the crazy thing about life, right? You don't really know what's around the corner.
No, and it all. I have a friend that would say that it was the universe, that that they line everything up and everything happens how it's meant to. And it, as much as I like to fight her on the universe stuff, it really does. It all linked together. My animal care course led me to the boarding kennels, and the boarding kennels led me to grooming, and it all kind of linked in together and led me to where I am.
Yeah, amazing. What's the hardest part of the business?
Well, there's kind of two sides to it. There's the running business side, which is it's foreign. It's very foreign to me. So I'm luckily, Troy's got a handle on it with his two businesses, so he's kind of my business mentor at the moment. But I think working on your own with dogs can be really challenging, but just for so many reasons. Majority of the time it's fine and you can make it work. But when the hard ones hit you, it can be really challenging working on your own. That's probably the hardest thing, is just not having the extra pair of hands or everything, and the expectation of some clients that it's should still be perfect, even though the dog's trying to eat my face or or something, that it's but I don't have that second person there to kind of help.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Are they mostly on a rotation? Like, are they mostly on a regular grooming schedule?
Yeah. I mostly every 6 weeks is ideal. Depending on the dog, I have 1 or 2 dogs that come once a year, and they're fine because of their coat type and everything. They're all good. They're dirty for the rest of the year, but they're fine.
Yeah.
But the majority of dogs need to be seen between 6 and absolute maximum 12 weeks, and 12 weeks is only, the very few that have that special coat type that's not going to mat up, but it's 6 to 8 weeks is ideal.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So I try to get everyone to book in advance. The majority of people book for the whole year at a time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wow. So are you pretty much maxed out then?
I'm not accepting new customers.
Wow.
At the moment, which is pretty amazing.
It is cool.
Really. It's a very, I whinge and moan about it, that it's, like, oh, I'm so busy. But on the other side of it, it would be mortifying if I was thinking, oh my God, I don't have any work this week.
Yeah.
So I am very, very fortunate to be in that position. Yeah.
Yeah. And are you thinking about adding some scale or no?
Potentially in the future. The way that I've got it set up at the moment works really well family-wise. I've just got my little cabin at home. There's not really room for anyone else in there. But when the kids are a bit older, if the demand in our area is still there, because at the moment there's only 3 groomers with countless amounts of dogs just in the area. If that demand is still there when the kids are a bit older, I think it would be unwise not to expand a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. Like my mindset always goes to growth and scale and like doing more, but it's not necessarily always the right answer.
Yeah, I'm very conscious of, because everything is so kind of new to me. Even grooming is relatively new. It's only been about 2.5 years. But the business stuff is very new, and I'm very aware that, if I bite too much off, the whole thing will just get too much.
That's it, yeah.
And the reason behind it all was for the kids, really, and for, that family life. And because working at the kennels was great, but it was hard. The kids were in, before school care and after school care and holiday programs, and thinking, what is the point of this? I'm paying someone else to watch my kids.
Yeah.
So I can be here to make the money to pay for these people to watch my kids.
Yeah, it's a weird circle, isn't it?
And I never see them. And it sucked.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to change that somehow, and then this golden opportunity popped up.
Wow. So it sounds like it's a pretty good balance then at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably I'm not very good at saying no. So I do say yes a little bit too much, and kind of, oh yeah, I'll squeeze you in.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a much, much, much better balance. And at least it's, if the kids need me, all they have to do is walk, 10 steps outside and just say, Mum, I want a snack, or something, or, whinging about her sister. It's nicer to be so close, even if I do have to work, and sometimes they come in with me. And they, if it's a really cute little dog, then they'll just come in and help me groom it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
which
good.
is really nice.
Yeah, a bit of labour.
Yeah.
It's good, right?
Free labour.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, 100%.
Not necessarily good labour, but free.
And so what happens when someone contacts you now that is not a current client? Do you just say, like, we've got a wait list, or how does it work?
Yeah, I've got a wait list. Last time I looked, there was about 40-odd people on the wait list.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bit nuts. So I've just got my pre-written message that I just, copy and paste to everybody and just say, this is a list of people who are semi-local. There's no other groomer in Lincoln can take any more either. Right. There's only one other big one, and she's fully booked as well.
Yeah.
And then another one who, does very, very part-time, and she's, doesn't have any space. So I have to give them options that are semi-close.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I just say, if you want to go on the wait list, but it's, first in, first serve.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about the industry, but does price vary much between groomers?
Oh, hugely.
Yeah. Hugely.
And it's all, skill-based and confidence-based, really. There's a lot of people that don't charge their worth. It can vary between... There's a lot of variables with dogs. It can go from, their size, which is pretty standard, to, their behaviour and their coat type and their coat condition. So it's always, I don't know any groomer that does, a flat rate, this is going to cost you $80. Because even my regular dogs, I don't give them a regular, a standard price, because it could be, that dog could be matted that day, or he could be in a really bad mood and take me longer.
Yeah.
The majority of them are usually the same price, but it can vary greatly. And some of the bigger salons, they charge, remarkably more, but people pay it.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Not everyone's price sensitive, right?
I try to keep mine pretty reasonable. My overheads aren't very big. I work from home. I could charge a little bit more. I could. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, that's just instantly what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
Like if you've got a wait list, if you've got demand.
Yeah, I know. I
Not to
know.
say it's the right answer.
Well, it's not the wrong answer.
No.
No, I do. And I mean, I've even had customers say you need to charge more.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another groomer that she put her prices up by $10, which is a reasonable jump
Right.
with grooming. And, you know, she thought that she needed to get rid of a few customers, really. And
Yeah.
she thought that it would, you know, thin it out a little bit. Nobody bat an eyelid because they want to be close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just, you know, will pay it.
It's an interesting one with pricing in business. It's something that I struggle with as well. Like just, you know, I put pricing up for the coaching last December, and you know, there's just so much fear around it.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I think it is well, with me and with, you know, a lot of other groomers, it is a confidence based thing as well, because I'm so kind of new, you know, like my tutor, for example, she's been in the business for 25 years, so she could charge the earth and it would be absolutely rightly so. But yeah, I need to get my balls up, really. I just need to do it.
Yeah, maybe
make the plunge, because I mean,
that's it.
It's you do need to charge your worth, and it is a really expensive. You know, people don't really think about all of the costs that are factored into it, and all of the products and the time and the equipment and the everything.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of wear on the equipment. There's a lot of maintenance. Yeah, it is. So you don't actually, if you don't charge enough, you don't take enough home.
Totally.
Yeah.
One thing is just to give enough timeline, right? So that sort of eases the burden on both you and the customer, and so you can advise it in 2 or 3 months' time. Here's the new rates.
Oh yeah, I'll be giving some notice.
Yeah. All right, sounds like commitment.
Yeah, set it on camera now.
That's it. That's what happens when you talk with me. Accountability and commitments happen.
That's it.
Yeah. I've felt weirdly, it's a weird coincidence, like how I've stumbled across that YouTube channel recently.
Yeah.
With dog grooming.
I
don't
know.
know.
The phone was probably listening.
It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. Somehow knew that you were meeting a dog groomer soon.
I never thought I would find myself down a YouTube vortex of watching dogs getting groomed, but here we are.
Here we are.
It's quite good content though.
Yeah. No, she's amazing. She's girl with the dogs. She's very, very clever what she does, and she's very compassionate as well, which I think should drive everything in this industry. If you don't have compassion for the dog that you're working with, you shouldn't be doing it. It's not just a meal ticket. Like, you know, they're living, breathing animals that need us.
Yes.
And it's and that's her, you know, driving force.
Yeah.
Which is really nice to see, someone who genuinely just cares.
Yeah, it's a good example of what happens when you've got a bit of personality. You know, you're willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You can document it, and it's not like there's any huge production quality. It's just like pretty. Like,
I mean,
raw.
most of the time she just has a GoPro on her head kind of thing.
Yeah.
But people love it.
What a story though.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and it's cool, and it's free.
And it's free.
Yeah.
And and now she can groom dogs for free to help people based solely on her content.
Yeah.
It's very, very clever.
Do you get challenging dogs like that?
Oh yeah.
Or are they generally in a routine now, so they're pretty good?
Yeah. I'd like to say they were all great, but they're not. I mean, and it's very circumstantial. You know, they might have to push it out due to a surgery, or, you know, they're going on holiday or something, and it gets pushed out now. Or it might be really hot and they're just swimming all the time and they get all knotty. And then there can be. I do have some dogs that, you know, the behavior is not ideal.
Right.
Which is, you know, those are the dogs that I want to help somehow. But then it's knowing where your limit is. You know, it's what I can do and what is good for the dog, and then when this needs, you know, a specialist kind of thing, which unfortunately some dogs do. It's just, you know, I don't want to do anything that would make matters worse. But you do definitely get some that are bad, and it's all, you know, it's all fear based. I generally believe there are no bad dogs. It's all circumstantial. It's, you know, if they don't start grooming when they're small enough, generally we say between 10 and 12 weeks. So basically as soon as you get them.
Right.
If it's a fluffy dog, or even if it's not a fluffy dog, it's such good socialization for them and desensitization. Otherwise it's a pretty traumatic experience.
Yeah.
I've had some dogs come to me from, you know, it's their first grooming at a year old, and it's the most horrendous experience for them because it's terrifying, with blow dryers and even just being with this strange lady who they don't know, and mum and dad leaving them, and they're like, oh my God, she's going to kill me with this blow dryer. So it's really doing them an injustice by not, getting them used to it from when they're young, and it really turns into an awful experience for them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Do you have like a aspirational like brand or grooming company in New Zealand that you're like, those guys are pretty good, or not so much?
Not so much. It's all New Zealand's very kind of little bits. Is that there is a a dog grooming association and everything. It's my tutor actually started up a kind of grooming community, and she does seminars.
Oh yeah.
Called the Southern Skills, and those are amazing. Yeah, those are really good, and they're just so useful because it's a job that you never stop learning.
Yes.
Even her at 25 years, she's still, oh shit, why didn't I think of that? Or, oh, that works really well, and there's always new products and new equipment and everything coming into play. So it's Leanne is probably the go-to person. The
one, yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. I think that's a good mindset to have for anything though, right?
Yeah.
Always be improving and...
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're arrogant if you think that you're always at the top of your game.
100%. Yeah. I think that anyone that pretends to know it all or
no
has
one
all the
knows
answers,
it all.
it's a bit of a red flag, isn't it?
Yeah, always something more that you can learn. And it's, at the end of the day, we're here for the dogs.
Yeah.
So it's, if it can benefit them and if it can benefit your business.
Yeah, totally. Have you seen any technology that's changed in the last little bit, like in the industry?
There's
any cool gadgets or?
Oh, well, there's things that are coming out that pet owners love and groomers see, and they're just like, what is this? There's this automatic brush for specifically for doodles, the poodle mixes, the labradoodles and the spoodles, and with the really big, thick, curly coats. And it's this machine that has this kind of rotating brush, and it just is a groomer's nightmare. But it's become really popular because it's, because they're really hard coats to maintain at home. So people think, oh, awesome. I just chuck this machine on it and it's just going to brush my dog completely. I haven't tried it personally, but it looks scary. It just looks like a nightmare waiting to happen.
I thought they were carefree, those dogs. I thought they were the easy to care for ones.
Oh my, they're the hardest of all dogs.
Oh, so they're just not, is it no allergies?
Well, that was the clever marketing scheme. Unfortunately, breeders are not as honest as they should be. There's, it's my kids one looks like me and one looks like their dad. And it's the same with dogs. They might have a poodle mum and a spaniel dad.
Right.
And you can't guarantee,
the split of DNA.
Yeah, it's not going to be 50-50 or 70. You have no idea.
Yeah, right.
I have 2 dogs at work and they come from the same litter. One looks basically entirely like a poodle. You can tell it's a cavoodle, but you can tell that it's, very much poodly. And then the other one, they're not from the same litter, but they're from the same parents, and looks 100% like a cocker spaniel.
Yeah, right.
And they're from the same parents. So it's, it's marketed that, that they're allergy free and it's going to be so great, and they're not. Some are, and that's great, but there's no guarantees, and it's, that's when dogs end up in bad positions and they end up in shelters and rescues and everything, because people think, well, I'm still, getting allergies to this dog. This isn't what I was promised. It's just, it's a gamble. Yeah, I think you're better to go if, allergies are a big concern, or the mess or the shedding, better to go with a purebred dog. A poodle or schnauzers don't even shed very much.
Right.
But it's become a big fad, really, and I mean, they're beautiful dogs. They are lovely, lovely dogs, but it's, just the marketing on it is that they're going to be, easy care. Like, you thought they were easy care. And they're actually the hardest coat to maintain, and people want them to be because they have such beautiful coats if maintained.
Right, yeah.
And that's what people want. So they want to keep them really long and fluffy, but the amount of work that goes into that is nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, some breeds are definitely a lot more work than others. I used to have a husky.
Oh,
Oh, exactly, exactly. Yeah,
beautiful, amazing dogs.
in some ways.
Oh, they can be very hard as well.
Yeah.
But the coat, I couldn't imagine having a husky at home.
Oh man.
But that is one of my favorite grooms as well.
Oh really?
So satisfying. Getting the blow dryer on that and it just explodes.
Do you have one of those beekeeper
I
hair
keep
nets?
saying I need to order one of them because I don't, and I have goggles and I have a mask that I put on.
Yeah.
But I need to get the full setup.
You
I
need-
don't, now that I only do small dogs, I don't get as many of the D sheds as I did at my last job.
Right.
So it's not an immediate concern, but I did a border collie the other day and it was like it was snowing. So I need one. I need one for sure. I'll be inhaling God knows what.
No doubt. Yeah. How do you clean up afterward? Is there an easier-ish way to do it, or?
After a D shed, it just has to be a vacuum. Otherwise, it's just you'll just be sweeping. Like even it was my friend's border collie that I did, and I thought that I had cleaned everything, and then I was blow drying another dog, and then I just see this flapping in the back, and her fur is still stuck on my plant in the back. Like he'll just never.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's with me forever now.
Yeah, funny. Any business goals for the next year or two? Anything you're working on?
Not actively. I'm pretty comfortable.
Pretty good.
Which I do, have in my head that it's, because the goal was to be able to work from home, be with the kids more, be with Troy more, and just be able to have more freedom. And that's, we've gotten there. So now it's kind of, what is the next step? As I said, I think it would be silly to not expand if when I'm ready the demand is there. Because it's nuts at the moment. I could get 4 more groomers in and we would be fully booked still.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's a space thing because I'm really comfortable working at home. It's just so much easier when the kids.
Yeah, makes sense.
But when they're a bit older, a bit more independent, I think I would like to not necessarily have employees. That scares me. But I think there's definitely the demand for it.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Maybe do like the like how salons do it, like the rent a chair kind of model. Yeah. Yeah,
it's always an option. I mean, I've even considered, on the days that I don't work, I could just rent my cabin out to someone.
Cool.
There might be some mum at home who doesn't have her own setup and they can just come in when I'm not working.
That could make sense.
Yeah, just a couple days a week or something, and they can use it. But it's finding that right person.
That's it. Yeah.
But it is something to consider.
It could be a win-win, right?
I'm getting money for doing nothing.
Yeah.
Or for, just letting out my space that would be sitting there anyway, not being used.
Totally.
Yeah.
Especially given the wait list as well.
Well, there is that.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and people want close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to, even if it's, 10, 15 minutes up the road, they're like, oh, but if I can get 5 minutes, then why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there many that have scaled like beyond the owner and like multiple employees, or are they generally a bit more boutique grooming?
There are a lot of boutique ones.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'd use the word boutique for a lot of them. There are a lot because there are no regulations at all in the industry. You can go and be a dog groomer tomorrow. So there are a lot of people that just, set up in their garage kind of thing. But there are some bigger scale ones that there's Angels that kind of they're nationwide. I think they've got 2 here. I think they've got a couple in Auckland, and they probably will expand more, to be honest. But for the most part, it is just kind of singular. Yeah. Yeah, because it's a lot of admin.
Yeah.
to extend it out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if people are using dog groomers more or less. Probably more, right?
More.
More and more and more.
More, especially since the poodle mix craze has come in.
Right.
There's just so many more dogs that need grooming. Short-haired dogs, it's great to take them to a groomer and get a bath and everything, but people can do that from home if they like. But these dogs need a professional.
Yeah.
And it's just the demand is just going to keep. Going to keep coming.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I read a few days ago. It's the pet care industry is nearly a $2 billion a year industry.
Just
because
in New Zealand.
people, because
right.
people they love their pets and they will pay whatever is necessary to, give their baby the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Do you do other animals or just dogs?
No, I did. I helped my tutor when I was studying groom a cat, and that scarred me for life.
You're like, no more of that.
No more.
No.
No more. It's really delicate, hard process, and cats are so unpredictable. It's not so much a one-man job. She always had a second person there, because God, they're quick and they're mean. I mean, there are some cats that just lay there, but there are a lot of groomers who do cats and rabbits, and the really fluffy rabbits and everything. But if there wasn't so many dogs, I potentially would look into something else. But there's so many dogs to keep me busy that I don't have to do the scary stuff so much. I understand dogs.
Yeah.
The other ones are a bit confusing.
A bit unpredictable.
A bit unpredictable.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say, just changing gears a little bit, what would you say to other parents or, mothers out there that are like contemplating starting a business or, creating something that will allow for a bit more lifestyle? What would you say to them?
It's just so worth it. It's really scary. It's really, really scary. I was absolutely, the decision to go back and study at a high school level when I was 30, it was pretty humiliating actually. But I thought, well, what else am I going to do? I have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And it does. And just have if you don't have a village, find your village. I wouldn't have been able to do all of that without, so much support, especially when it came to the kids and everything. But you just got to get out and try, because I was so worried that I was like, what am I going to do? It's different when you're in a partnership and, you just always kind of figure it out. But I was like, oh, shit, I'm on my own. This is just me, and I solely have to provide for these kids. And I'm thinking, I don't want to, I want to give them everything that I can. And I didn't go in with a clear plan. You don't have to know everything at the start. All I knew was that, right, I need my high school credits to do anything. And then I was like, okay, well, dogs, let's do, an animal care course. And then it just, one thing led to another, but you just have to try and just work your ass off.
Yeah.
I got the job at the kennels because I was doing work experience for my course with the kennels. And I had in my head, I want to work here. I want to do this. So I worked my ass off for free for work experience.
Yeah.
But I wanted them to see that I was a hard worker and that I want this.
Yeah.
And it worked. And they offered me a job. Initially it was a casual job, and then, and then a permanent job, and then a groomer job. The opportunities are out there, and it is really scary. But it's not as scary if you have support.
Yeah. It goes to show, though, what can make all the difference if you just show a little bit of enthusiasm or a lot, but, just provide evidence, right, to the employer.
Yeah, I just thought, I'm just going to show these people.
Yeah, like they can't say no.
Yeah, and they were just like, I was the first port of call. They were like, we're thinking we need more staff. Do you want a job? And I was like, it worked.
Exactly.
My plan worked. Yeah, I was just like, surely they have to see how much I love dogs, how hard I'm willing to work because I love dogs. And they did, and it worked, and somehow I'm here.
I love that. And then the other sentiment is just one foot after the other, like not knowing exactly the end destination.
Well, that's it. I started at Aurora, and I was like, I didn't want to look too far ahead. I'm like, this is my mission. I want to get my high school credits up because, I left so early. And that's the thing that, is kind of beaten into people that, you need school, you need this, you need that. There are so many things that you can do. You just have to have the drive and have the enthusiasm and find something that if the passion isn't there, then there's no point. Because you will lose interest.
I agree.
And it'll get boring or it'll get too hard. But even on the hard days, I still love dogs, and I still want to help them, and I still want to work with them. So it's, I think, oh God, today sucked, but it's all good.
It's all good.
Because I'm still working with my favorite animal in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it an easy decision or a hard decision when you left high school?
It was easy. It was a mix of both. I was my dad left when I was about 15. Moved to Australia, and it was hard. We went through loss of business, bankruptcy, and it was just me and Mum, and she was struggling, and school was never for me. I always had problems, focusing, and I just didn't enjoy it at all. Some people love it. It just was never for me. And I needed to put more effort in, but I didn't at the time. Kids are dumb. I didn't apply myself the way that I should have, and I just thought, well, I could go out and get a job, and I could work, and I could give Mum money, and I can help instead of being, I wasn't a hindrance. I was never a hindrance to her, but it was hard. It was hard for her to, recover from everything, and I just thought, well, I actually hate being at school, so I can go out and make money and do that. But then obviously you don't think about the long-term effects.
No.
When you're 16, you just don't really care about what you'll be doing when you're 30.
Yeah. It's a tough one though, isn't it? Because I don't know if school is meant for everyone. I think there's other ways to learn. I think there's other options.
Yeah, I think there is. And Troy's the same, that it's, I feel like I learn in different ways. Grooming was perfect for me because I could get in there and physically do it and touch it with my hands, and I can be shown physically how to do it. Whereas if I read something in a book, it just in one ear out the other.
Yeah.
And it's, I find it hard to absorb that information, but, everyone is different. So it's, but if I'm shown something, I'll remember it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I sometimes, I do read a lot of books, and I try to process the information, but a lot of it I don't feel really sinks in.
Yeah, because I can kind of feel my brain floating away, and I'm thinking about something else while I'm trying to read.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm looking at something and I'm physically doing something, my attention is solely on that, but my mind kind of drifts. And it's just there's not only one option. You don't have to stay in school, and I mean, you should stay in school preferably, but school isn't for everyone.
No, that's right.
And I could have applied myself harder, but I didn't. I chose not to. And, I did suffer the consequences for that, because my friends were, studying their asses off, working really hard. And I was, I was working, and I didn't end up getting, these awesome jobs that they ended up with and everything, because they thought about it earlier. And then I kind of got to having kids, and I was like, oh man, I wish I thought about I wish I thought about that. But it's still happened.
I guess the theory is though that it's designed to produce employees versus business owners or entrepreneurs, and so
because I think a lot of that, it comes from inside you, your own creativity and your own interests and passions and everything. And look at Leadhead. That just came from a thought bubble that Troy had. And it's because of, his creative brain.
Yes.
And it's, it's not just, you don't have to fit in any certain.
Not at all.
No. It just kind of, I was just thinking, well, what do I love? I love dogs. I love my kids. Couldn't work with other people's kids. I don't have the patience. And I just thought, well, what can I do with that? So I just, baby steps towards something to do with dogs.
Yeah. So I guess it's following, I guess, like your passion, your love, your interest, but also curiosity, and mixing it all together.
Yeah. I just, for me in particular, the attention span was never there, which was the problem with school and everything. And it's, for me, I have to really love something for it to fully sink in my brain and everything. And I was, when I was at grooming school, even though it was disgustingly hard some days to adjust to, I thought that grooming would be easy. But it was just like this works. This I can take in, and it's not to say that I was a pro on day one. I was ridiculous. But it, I found something that works for me.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
I love that. Do you work in like do anything with lead head, or is that fully Troy's thing?
I did.
Yeah.
I did help a lot more, and now I don't. Poor boy. I'm just so busy now.
Yeah, you got your
And
own
it's
thing.
and it's I'm at home with the kids, and so he has to go out and pack the orders because I can't go with him. We will be getting a little bit more time in the weekends now with some family changes. So hopefully I can start, because I love it.
Yeah,
I
cool,
love
right?
it, and
It's
it's
so cool.
this little brain baby that he's built. It's just amazing. And I do want to be more a part of it. Yeah, but it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like he's picking up momentum.
Oh, he's a magnet. He is a human magnet, and it's just people just attract.
People just love it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just this. I think he had it right from the word go that he built this community, and that's what people love because they want to be a part of it. It's not just the hats, even though the hats are awesome, but it's people want to be part of Leadhead and what it
Something, right?
is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting. I did the beers masterclass, barbecue
Yes, I saw that.
masterclass
Yeah.
on Sunday, and there was definitely a few lead head hats around.
Yeah.
And then because of that, there was a few people like asked me like, "Oh, what's this? What's the story there? Like, what are these?
Yeah.
What are these hats?" Right?
Yeah.
Told them the
It's
story.
funny how it just domino effects into
Totally.
everything connects to each other somehow.
Yeah. I reckon. A few lead head lemonades.
They're so good.
Aren't they just?
They are so good. I'm not a beer drinker, but when they brought out the lemonade, I was like, that's me.
Yeah, they're dangerously easy.
They are
Aren't
dangerous, yeah, but delicious.
Yeah, so good. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so good to sit down with you and meet you and like go through your backstory.
Yeah, it's really nice to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
so
was
good.
really nervous.
Really?
But I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, it's just a chat, right?
Once again, taking the plunge.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's cool to be able to create these podcasts, and then this is on the record now, right?
Yeah.
So you'll be able to look back on this.
Yeah.
And in the future, if there's like a repeat episode,
Yeah.
we'll be able to review back and be like, oh, remember that time when you had a wait list of 40 or so different people?
Yeah, where are you now?
Exactly. Yeah, so it's really cool. And
Yeah.
like the whole journey of the 10 million, 10 years.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I really like doing is the anniversary episodes. Like even with Troy, right?
Yeah.
Like doing
It was amazing the difference in his 2 episodes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really cool having like this time capsule type thing going on.
Yeah, it is. It's really awesome.
Yeah. So super good. Awesome. Hey, well, thank you very much, Aurora.
Well, thank you for having me.
Quick question. Where does what's the origin of your name? It's quite
My
unique.
dad's Spanish.
Ah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's from Spain, so you said it right as well. Not many people
Really?
say it right. No.
No?
No, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, no doubt. What does it mean? Does it mean?
Bright lights in the sky.
Ooh.
Yeah, like
that's
the
good.
Aurora Borealis and
Gotcha.
Australis.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, it's from what I know, I'm actually named after a circus performer though.
Ah.
It was a
That's cool too.
Spanish circus performer, not the
Not the bright lights.
not the bright lights, but the circus performer in Spain.
Jill
But
Manning.
it's-
So good. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, thank you so much.